out there in YouTube land, and welcome to another segment of Tell It Like It Is. I'm your host, Morris, man, and my co host is.
Joseph Spencer.
And today we're going to do a very highly anticipated show. We've had our viewers been asking us to do this show for over a year. And we had to get some clearance from certain things to do what we want to do on here because, again, on this show, we tell it like it is. We don't hold back. We don't worry about sponsorship being taken away, or you can't say that on TV, because we're going to say that on TV. And today we're going to tackle the issue or the topic of Section 8. And I'm going to give you my spill on it, what I think, and then I'm going to pass it over to Joe. Here's my definition, and it's pretty simple. By definition to me, Section 8 is this: a large group of people taking care of another large group of people for absolutely no reason at all. Because the majority of those people that are being taken care of are not sick, they're not on disability. Their only disability is they're irresponsible and they're trifling. So that's basically what it is in a nutshell, because there's nothing wrong with, and I'm all for a government program or system that will take care of people that are struggling. And that's the key word, struggling. You're trying to do something, but it's not materializing. Instead of, I'm laying up on my ass. And that's basically what makes up the majority of that system of welfare, people laying up on their ass. And if it was up to me, it'd be abolished tomorrow because it's not necessary. There's a lot of money being wasted. And let me just say this, and then I'm going to turn it over to you. Most of us don't know how the system of the government works. And I have some experience in this area because I was employed with the government in the banking system for over 21 years. So I know how the country works, simply. And a lot of people mindset is this: it's the government's money, and ain't nothing wrong with us taking the government's money. It's not the government's money.
No, it's not.
We pay taxes for a reason. We pay taxes on our clothes, on our food, on our income. And that money goes towards programs that the government monitors. So it's not, quote unquote, the government's money. It's people that go to work every day, money, who are taking care of these other people that ain't working. So I do have an issue with that. But I'll continue, but I'm going to turn it over to Joe and get his opinion or insight on what do he think about this program, system.
As you know, I'm from Chicago. Okay. And I had a street friend. He lived down the street. Why I call him a street friend, because I never invited him to my house, and he's never invited me to his.
Okay.
And he looked at me and said one day and says, "Where you going, Joe?" I said, "I got to go bid on this job. I'm self-employed." And he says, "Man, I see you go out here and hustling every day. Why you do that?" I said, "Because I got to feed and clothe myself and have some place to live." "Oh, man, come with me. I'm going to show you how to do this." I get Section 8. He was getting Section 8 on a house.
Yeah, you're right.
He had a house sitting on a lot and a half. And for some reason, I stopped at his porch. He went in the house. And when he came out, he handed me a little packet. I said, "Man, what's that?" He says, "That's crack cocaine." I said, "What am I supposed to do with this?" He says, "When you get up in the morning, smoke this crack cocaine, and then go down there and tell them that you're a junkie. They're going to put you on a program. And then you can go on Section 8. They're going to give you food stamps, and they're going to send you, I think it was $230 a month." I said, "Man, I can make $230 in a day and a half. So you telling me to, well, you can get on Section 8 too." I said, "So I supposed to go put this garbage in my pocket, in my body, so I can go sit up in a Section 8 house?" Yeah, man, everybody doing it.
It's our government, but I don't totally blame the people that are on the system. I blame the government that allowed to put them on the system. Again, there's nothing wrong with a government program that are assisting, helping people. Because I got a few personal stories that I want to share regarding the story. And it kind of makes me angry when I think about these stories. Years ago when I lived in a suburb of Illinois, I lived in a condo complex. It's really nice, really clean, nice neighborhood. Then it started to change. And one of my last neighbors before I moved out of there, young couple, they were in their 20s, hardworking people. They had 2 kids that they had after they got married. They were doing everything right, Joe. And I would always tell him when I seen this guy, his name is James. And hello out there, James. I said, "I'm proud of you for what you're doing at your age. You should be the poster child for what a 25-year-old black man or man should be doing.
In any race.
Right, married, have children, and working and going to school. Him and his wife were going to school while they were working and taking care of their two boys. And one day, I'll never forget it, Joe. I passed him in the hallway, and we usually speak. He said, well, it's nice knowing you. And I'm like, what does that mean? Are you leaving? He said, yeah. And when I initially heard him say yes, I thought, okay, moving on to bigger and better things. I'm proud of you. He said, no, unfortunately, we can't afford to stay here. So they had to move. Now, the people across the alley from me who don't have jobs and living on Section 8, they ain't got to move. So I said to myself, you know, what kind of system do we have in this country where the people that are doing the right things don't have a program for them when they fall on hard times, and the people that have been laying on their ass for all their life, they get the red carpet treatment and everything is rolled out for them.
You know, I've met people who believe who are on Section 8 then did. I don't understand how you can do 30 years collectively in jail and get out and get Section 8. I don't understand how you can go to jail for doing illegal stuff and come out and do Section 8 and get food stamps and get cash. You done did stuff illegal for almost half your life. I don't understand that. And then there are people out here my age that's been working and struggling and go down to these places to get help and get hassled. Like I said, I used to date a caseworker, and she told me she was trained to get rid of people. You know?
I mean, unfortunately, people that go through that system, the system has no respect for them.
Right.
Here is another story, a personal story that really makes me angry too. You know, I have the utmost respect for servicemen and women.
Yeah.
They go overseas and risk their lives, and they don't get paid a lot of money. I'm sitting here looking at basketball players that don't only half play, and they get $10 million a year.
Yeah.
And they only play 8 games, and half of that time they injured on the bench.
Yeah.
But yet these people go overseas and risk their life and barely get pennies. And there is no program, Joe, for them when they come back and fall on hard times. If it was up to me, you know, it would be like this, that there'd be some type of law passed that when you go into the military and you come out, there's going to be housing for you for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life.
If it's not going to be low income for you, it's going to be free.
If you can do this with people who become junkies because they want to, become whores and alcoholics because they want to.
And counterproductive
and
people.
Counterproductive. You can build places for these
the
veterans.
Absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
to have some place to go, to feel safe, to know that, you know, until they get a job or whatever, you know. Robert, this system is real weird to me. I've never asked for anything from the state and the government.
Yeah.
I was brought up on 47th Street, and I knew I wasn't going to get it. I didn't have nobody to back me up. Aldermen and those people don't care to give a damn about it, especially ones back in the 50s and 60s. They were just fronting, you know.
I mean, I think, and this is just an assumption at this point, because I don't really know, but I would like to think that the program came into existence for this reason. Back in I would say the 60s on back, women primarily stayed home and took care of the kids.
Stayed home, no matter what race they were.
Right, they didn't go to college or they didn't go to get jobs. Their job was to take care of the kids while the man took care of all of them. And a lot of men back then were cheating around and they left their wives and left them high and dry. And that's when they would go get these assistant programs, which is totally understandable. But the scenario that is really just seems to be how people get on the system now is, I'm 15 years old and I'm having sex when my mom ain't home. Or I'm over with my boyfriend's house having sex and I'm having babies now. I go to this agency and get taken care of. And what a lot of these young knucklehead young guys don't realize is when their girlfriends or ex-girlfriends or whatever you want to call them that had their baby and they're no longer involved with them, they think that these women go down there and get on assistance and the government takes care of them. No, the government is actually loaning them money until they find you.
Right.
And once they find you, because they're going to find you, they're going to make you pay that money back. So I think a lot of young guys, if they knew this, they wouldn't do or put themselves in that situation, but they don't know any better because they're stupid.
Robert, I'm several years older than you. And when the males in my family, I would ask them questions, and they would just tell, boy, just go get the pee. What's wrong with you? You a sister? Just get that pee. Like it was a sport. And if you weren't willing to do that, just go and have sex, you are an masculine being.
And I will go as far as to say this, and I might be wrong. We humans and humans do what humans do. My issue is that when you do it, be responsible doing it.
Yeah.
Don't let the result of you having casual, careless sex that, you're going to have a couple of kids in the next year or two.
More,
Put a rubber on that thing.
put a rubber on it.
Now here's something interesting. I need to make this point.
Yeah.
I got friends that work for government agencies, and I've always been a statistic freak because I don't want to step to the plate and give information that's incorrect or I'm
Yeah.
assuming or guessing. So I asked these kind of people to run numbers for me, and I asked them to do it in Chicago and New York, and the numbers I asked them was to do this for me. How many young black men that are under the age of 25 that are in jail or about to go to court and go to jail, their parents or parent was on Section 8. And here are the numbers, Joe, and this is not me making this up. 96% of the men or young boys that commit crimes in Chicago, run around with the dreads and shooting at each other and shooting other people, their mother is on Section 8. And what that tells me, and in New York is 86%, what that tells me is this: menace of society. We have to stop feeding into this system because it's not producing productive people. It's actually producing counterproductive people.
Counterproductive people, yeah.
So it's not just a matter of a group of people who we call the taxpayers taking care of these other people that ain't trying to do nothing. That's bad enough on its own. But now you have these people that their offsprings are going out there killing people.
Yeah.
So it has to stop.
When you have a woman stick her head out the window, this is also a true story, and I know she was on aid because she said so. My eldest will be 18 soon. I got to find some other sucker to knock me up so they won't cut me off.
Absolutely. I've heard that too when
Yeah.
I was growing up, that I got to make more babies to stay on the system.
On the system.
And the system is now realizing that they've created a monster and they're trying to renege now, say, we're cutting back. And they have every right to do so. My issue is this: it's not, again, totally the people that own the system. It's the system that put the people on there. Because we live in a society where there are people on top that want to keep on the bottom, stay on the bottom.
Right.
And this is how they do it by, giving them crumbs
Right.
instead of, like they say,
You feed them like pets.
exactly like that old saying, if I just give you a fish, you'll eat for a day. If I teach you
Got
how
it.
to fish,
Right.
you'll eat for a lifetime.
Right. Hey man, the system, when I was a kid on 45th Street, we lived on 45th Street. Mary Daly lived over west there in his neighborhood. When election time came up, the preacher would come around and tell us there'd be chicken every pot. The mayor's gonna make sure. And when I got older, I said, my people in this area have been selling their votes for a chicken.
Yeah.
And that was literally for a chicken, a box of food, and they knew that's from that Jim Crow. Yeah. Kept them fed, keep them someplace where they can have sex. Yeah. We can get $2.49 worth of canned goods at the time back in the 50s, and we can feed a household of 6.
Yeah.
Kick the man out.
Yeah, exactly. Kick the man out.
Kick the man out.
We don't want nobody productive in the service.
We don't want nobody right.
Yeah.
Kick the man out. He can't be there, and if he's there and he's working, the $2.50 that he's making an hour, he's gonna have to take care of the whole household.
Yeah. Because here are some very, I call it to-do programs. They can be done, but unfortunately, I don't think they're ever going to be done. And here is one of them. And it sounds crazy and kind of radical, but the same money that we give people, literally give people to just do nothing but have babies, take that same money and say, you know what, we're not giving you a cent if you have kids before you're married. And once you pass that criteria, let me finish, of getting married and having a kid, just want to go to college, we'll give you this money.
Right.
Because now we know that you're productive.
Productive.
As opposed to, I'm going to sit here and have 2 kids, and they're going to sit here and have 3 kids, and they're going to sit here and have 5 kids, and none of them doing nothing but getting taken care of by taxpayers.
But when you have generation after generation of being taught that you cannot be productive, the pray. You got to pray and go to church.
And to an extent, I agree with you that the system is designed to keep people ignorant. Say, you know what, just keep my mouth closed, just keep getting a few dollars, as opposed to Show me a way to go out there to be productive and make 5 times as much money, be proud of what I've done, and feed into the system. Because here is another interesting sad statistic that I had them run. Again, like I said, a lot of people don't realize how the system works and how it operates. That's just like you're retired now. That's just a scenario. You're 75 years old and you're retired. And you're collecting your Social Security from all the years of working because they take that money out of your checks throughout your life.
Yeah.
The way that it works, Joe, is this, that you're retired now, I'm still working, so that money that you're getting is the money that I've generated.
Right.
When I retire, you pass away,
Right.
and now I'm sitting in your seat, and here comes the other guy, 20, 30 years old.
Yeah.
He's working, and he's taking care of paying into the system that I'm reaping the benefits
Yeah.
from now. Here's the problem now. How can I put this? Okay, you retired, you out the picture. Now I'm in your seat, I'm retired. Now there's going to be a problem with me getting money because the guy that's in the next cycle of being 30 or 40, he's not working.
No,
You know,
not,
so
right.
that's how that system works, that people are constantly feeding into it, feeding the money into.
Right.
But now you got people that are sitting on welfare, disability when they don't supposed to get it, they just running a scam, you know, they sit on their ass, they're not paying into the system, they're actually taking away from the system. So that's why they've been saying that in another 40, 50 perhaps years, Social Security is going to crash.
It's going to crash, yeah.
And
Well,
that's the reason why it's going to crash and that because the people that are coming in now are not feeding into it. They're not working. Here's my closing remarks. I have, again, no problem with a program that is sponsored by the government that we're paying into to help, you know, make it work, helping people get on their feet instead of keeping them on their backs. That's my problem. There should be no reason why a 16-year-old kid should be having sex and having babies when they're still being taken care of. And then the people that go to work like you and I who draw a salary and get it taxed every pay period take care of these people. That's my problem. Until the government decides to say, hey, because we didn't even touch on this topic, but it ties in. All Section 8 is slavery still. Slavery is still around. It's called now Section 8 because whenever anybody controls your money, they control you. And the government has to let that go and say, you know what? We got a large amount of people in this country that could be doing monumental things instead of we giving them a few dollars every month to sit on their ass and make babies. It's a tragedy that, you know, no one has said it's time to abolish this old mentality of thinking and putting everybody to work and be productive. Because the more productive we are, the better it is for everybody. Yeah. So that's my issue. And until that happens, we're going to still have a bunch of young guys running around and dreads. And not to say that everybody that wear dreads are criminals. They're not. Shooting each other, shooting other people. You know, all that stuff is going to continue and get worse until we revisit this whole Section 8 thing of taking care of people that shouldn't be taken care of because there's no reason to be taken care of other than they're irresponsible. Not that they're sick or on disability or can't work or have a disease. So until that changes and we revisit this and dismantle it and create something that's productive and an incentive for people to do, like I said, take that same money and say, I'm going to give it to you when you haven't had any babies, you're 18, you're about to go to college, then we're going to take care of you. And until we start to look at it and create those types of programs, it's only going to get worse. And on that note, I'm signing off. And this has been, again, Morris Mann for Tell It Like It Is. And my co-host is
Joseph Spencer.
Until next time, keep thinking.